Hanging out with my guy, Austin Ward. This time every Tuesday. When we do have a Tuesday show, we get to go on the trail.
The best kind of power is star power. Let's go on the trail.
Shout out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Checking with our terrific friend. He is Jeremy Birmingham. Birm, lots going on in the Buckeye world. Are you negative or positive on this lovely Tuesday that we're having?
I mean, I guess I'm neutral. I mean, I'm not really big on Tuesdays in general, but so far so good.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. What was your blood pressure today at Ryan Day's press conference when he was being asked about the health of his receivers, Birm?
Let me ask you this, Beamer. If somebody doesn't know how to properly read something like blood pressure or whatever, how are they supposed to answer that question?
That's a great. It's a great point. I'm glad you asked it.
Did you feel stress? Were you sweating? Were you uncomfortable?
No, I mean, I think it's one of those situations where you wish people, like, we all know, the people in that room, we know how Ryan Day is going to answer that question, right? Like, we all know he's going to say essentially nothing, and he's going to brush it off and say, well, we don't talk about injuries, and so, you know, that's as much as I'm going to say, but we all know why we need to ask the question. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like a wasted effort because we all know we're not going to get an answer, and we all know that it has to be asked. That said, nothing has changed. We have, both Austin and I and anybody else who's been in that building or talked to anybody in that building, have been told regularly that there is nothing with Carnell, Tate, or Jeremiah Smith that should cause long-term concern or give people pause or make you feel like a certain kind of way like you did with Jackson Smith and Jigba or Nick Bosa. But Buckeyes fans are a peculiar bunch. They've been through a lot, and they lean toward the negative, even on a neutral Tuesday.
Neutral Tuesday. I love that. We get that. So you predicted, Birm, on Thursday, a massive recruiting haul. Does this qualify as exactly what you anticipated?
I mean, the Buckeyes are up to 28 commitments in the class of 2026, with one added this morning from, the Buckeyes added Braxton Rembert, a linebacker who flipped his commitment from Wake Forest to Ohio State. He visited over the weekend. There's still some belief and some hope that C.J. Brana, a cornerback committed to Florida, might do the same in the next day or two. And then you couple that with flipping Nick Lauder, the tight end from Louisville, on Sunday. Then you had Dre Quinn, the former defensive end from formerly committed to Clemson from Georgia. He committed Sunday morning. Then you had your 2027 four-star safety committing on Saturday. There's maybe some news getting ready to happen here in about 10 minutes that will add elsewhere. It's a busy time. Buckeyes are killing it on the trail. It's funny because you see the reaction. Oh, Ohio State's dropping bags, but they're flipping kids from inside of the state. They're
reflipping
doing a lot,
unflipping,
reflipping, unflipping, both flips. They're backflipping. And the reality is these are kids that Ohio State has really spent a lot of time evaluating during their senior seasons. And that's something Ryan Day talked about on Tuesday, that how important these evaluations are. These are investments that the Buckeyes are making into players now, and they're doing their due diligence. And 28 commitments is a lot. And I think that there's a chance, again, with C.J. Brana, Darius McKinley, whose brother Dominic was recruited by Ohio State a few years ago, is committed to LSU. Like, that's still on the board. We might be looking at the first ever 30-man prep recruiting class for Ohio State. So very interesting time. 2.5 weeks, it's about 3 weeks now to signing day, the early December period, and it is ramped up in a major way.
Did I see between you and Mick Walker at Letterman Row talking about this commitment from the linebacker that he's 6'6", and that seems like a freakishly large, athletic, Arvelian perhaps linebacker?
Yeah, I mean, Braxton Rembert, again, he's from Mill Creek High School in Hoshton, Georgia. That's the same place that produced Caleb Downs. He is 6'5" 200 pounds. He's got an 81-inch wingspan. He has,
oh my gosh!
He's a all-state level basketball player down there. He's probably a better basketball player right now than he is football player, but that's okay because for Ohio State's purposes, it's really about putting a group together that can be developed. I mean, James Laurinaitis does a great job, as we talked about it on the beat for tomorrow morning. But when you look ahead at the linebacker room for Ohio State and you see the opportunity there with Peyton Pierce and Riley Pettijohn, TJ Alford, and Garrett Stover, and a lot of the other guys, Eli Lee, et cetera, you're not going to need Braxton Rembert to come in and be a guy next year that you're going to count on. So it's about development. It's about letting him get himself comfortable, putting some weight on him. He's going to probably need 35 to 40 pounds to be that type of guy, but the frame is really, really excellent. The athleticism is really excellent. And he's just got to learn how to play football.
We've got Birm with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Birm, Austin was alluding to a great story that you had field level on Saturday when Lorenzo Styles Jr. housed a kickoff return, first one since Jordan Hall did it against Michigan in 2010. Now, Austin didn't want to mess up the specifics of the story, and he just kind of gave us the bullet points of it. Can you share what you experienced field level when Lorenzo broke that 100-plus yard kickoff return?
It's just, there's a couple elements to it. One of the Ohio State team photographers was sitting there and said that the preseason, Lorenzo told him he was definitely bringing one back this year if he got a chance to run one out. And then you couple that with Ryan Day's response, which was Lorenzo started to take it out and then thought about it and then decided he's taking it out. And Ryan Day saying, you better take it out and you better go all the way. But then the fun part to me is watching Sonny Styles and the response that he had on the field and running down there, one of the first guys to greet his brother, then the official coming over and telling Sonny, what are you doing? You're not in this play. And he's like, that's my brother. I'm not saying there was an expletive.
It sounded like you dropped out there for a second.
I'm not saying there wasn't. I'm saying that Sonny said, that's my brother, dude. And the official's like, oh, okay. And then let him go. So, at that point in the game, like I think officials, I think red coats, I think a lot of the guys on the sidelines are probably really invested in making sure that their jobs are respected. And I appreciate that. But sometimes it's not necessary. We've been there a lot. We know what we're doing.
Ooh. I think we were about to veer out of neutral Birm into negative Birm right there when the redcoats came up.
Boy, they're so concerned about that darn dotted line, and you're like, buddy, I've been here for 15 years. I know where I'm not supposed to go. Sideline
snob right here.
We got a press box snob. We got a sideline snob. You guys and your snobbery.
I don't know about that. It's always weird to me, Birm, when there's so much football ahead of Ohio State and they go into senior day. It's not a year where it's the last regular season game. It is not the game. It's the emotion of these guys, but then they have to get back up and get ready for a rivalry and potentially a Big Ten championship in the playoff. It's like, I wish there was another way, but it's going to be still special for a couple of those guys you mentioned with Lorenzo and Sonny. But an interesting day for the emotions and for a class that's got some of those guys still have decisions to make about their future.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool opportunity that we get to be a part of, being down there, especially being on the field for that. It's crazy to me. Like, you're talking about Sonny Styles graduating from Ohio State. I remember being at his high school 3.5 years ago and him being like, hey, I want you to know I'm reclassifying. I'm committing to Ohio State next week. I'm going to be there in a month. I'm like, oh, okay. And now here we are, and he's like a grown man and leaving Ohio State. It's pretty wild. But there are guys that you certainly know what they're going to do. Sonny, one of them, Arvell, Caleb, Carnell, guys like that. But then there's the other ones that I think will really be instrumental in how good this program is next year. Guys like Caden McDonald, who obviously you become a huge fan of over the last couple of years, Austin. But when you look at these decisions, the Buckeyes are in a spot where they recruit and develop and retain and replace better than anybody in the nation. And it's what makes college football great, but it also does make it kind of sad because we get really close to these guys and then poof, they're gone.
What's the weather update looking like for them on Saturday for senior day, Brim Cantori?
We're seeing like 53, partly sunny, maybe some clouds rolling in late in the afternoon. But by the time that the 11:45 senior day festivities begin, we should be about 48 and sunny, night, basically no wind. It looks like a good morning.
All right, buddy. Always appreciate the time.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for hopping on with us. Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the game on Saturday, and we'll check in again. I don't know. I don't think we have a show next Tuesday, but we'll talk to you at some point down the road. All right.
Next week's the week of the game, guys. I don't do anything. I don't do any media. I got
shutting it down. Shutting down your recruitment.
Yeah, I got to lock in.
All right. Goodbye. There he goes. Jeremy Birmingham with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline.
No media.
He kept it neutral. He did want to veer a little bit negative.
Yeah, we almost got there.
Yeah, we kept him on the tracks. Our biggest